video as part of our Home Ed Academy, and in this video we are going to try and address one of the biggest questions that we get asked in our Twinkl Home Ed Facebook group, and I wonder if you can guess what that question is. Any ideas? Well, the question usually goes like this. I've got a Twinkl Home Ed subscription, I'm typing stuff in the search boxes, I've got millions of answers, I don't know what to do. Well, whether you want to follow a structured approach or a semi-structured approach, I am going to give you in this video some hints and tips as to how to very quickly get to grips on a very basic level of Twinkl and how you can use it day to day in your home ed journey. Now, that is a little bit of a caveat. This video is literally a real good basic starting point on how to use Twinkl. The whole point of our Home Ed Academy, which I have said before, is to give you a one-stop shop for everything that Twinkl has to offer. So if you follow these videos every week, you will by the end be an expert. But join me right now where I run you through what to do with Twinkl on a very basic and easy level so that you can hit the ground running using it as part of your home ed journey. So let's go. So just to start us off, to give you a little bit of an idea of how most people start when they have their Twinkl membership, and that is they have a child who has a real interest in something. So at the moment I'm going to pick on my daughter, who right now has an interest in the rainforest because she decided that she really likes sloths. So if you type in rainforest into Twinkl, you can see there is 1,224 resources on the rainforest, and you have a little scan through. It's a mixture of Key Stage 1, Key Stage 2, upper key stages. There's PowerPoints, there's worksheets, there's pictures, there's stickers, there's colouring in, and you suddenly feel really overwhelmed and you're not even sure where to start or what to do. Well, the first thing I'm going to say to you is breathe and don't panic, because what I'm going to show you is a really basic and easy way of starting with home ed and Twinkl. If you click on our home education tab, you will see right down the bottom here curriculum overviews, and I just want you to start by clicking browse curriculum overviews. And this will come up with an overview of all of the school years. Now you're going to click on a year that is relevant to your child. That may be dependent on their needs, lower or higher than where they are if they were in a traditional school. But we are going to pick year 4. And then you can download it. And what you now have is an overview of everything that children would do were they in school. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to follow all of this, because actually we all do home education completely differently. But what it does do is it gives you a starting point for you to see what children would do should they be in school. And as I've said, if you want to follow a really structured approach, this is all you need with regards to finding out what children could or would be doing in that particular key stage and year group. But actually we don't follow a structured approach, but I also find these things really interesting to get ideas and think about different projects that we could do that are based on our children's interests. So that's the starting point. You can print this out, you can save it, it's entirely up to you, but I use this as a starting point, a building block, if you will, for starting out thinking about what I am going to do with my children. Now, if we say stick with science, you can see there's stuff on sound or electricity or states of matter. And you may be asking, if you look down at geography, we've got human and physical geography, we've got history and the Roman Empire, the Vikings and the Saxons. And the question may be, right, okay, Chrissy, that's great, I've downloaded the overview, I'm still completely lost, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Well, if we head back to our home page, and you will see at the top curriculum aims. So if you click on curriculum aims, you will see here each of the subjects that match up with that overview that we have just printed off, and you can see here each of the subjects and then key stage 1 and key stage 2. Don't forget, if you have a child who is of secondary school age, you would be looking for the Beyond product. But for the purposes of this video, we are just going to be looking right now at Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2. So for history, for example, I picked out the Romans. So it might be that we think, oh, actually, that sounds a good idea. Let's do the Romans. So remember, it was year 4 that I printed out. So I'm going to find that in Key Stage 2. And then down the left-hand side, here we are. Here are all of the matches that match that curriculum overview. So if I go back to that curriculum overview, I'm not going to bore you, but if I did and read all of the different things that you would do in year 4, they match up to these. And so here we have the Roman Empire. So if I click on that, what I have in my resources are some things that I can use in order to teach my child about the Romans. And from that, I would look through and think there's some Roman numerals, there's some 60-second reads, there's something on Boudica, which I might do as a little project. There's some stuff on the Roman army, an animation story. So from here, I could use this in order to plan some work at home using the Romans as my theme. And I can do this for each of the different subjects. What you will also find, if you really do want to follow a bit more of a structure and you want a little bit more hand holding again, what you will find at the top when you've clicked these topics is a complete planning overview. So this takes the overview that I've just showed you, which shows you the overview of the whole curriculum. This takes it just, in this case, for history or each of the subjects. But I wouldn't worry if that really does panic you, because obviously those documents are meant for teachers. So don't worry if that does seem a little bit overwhelming. But if you really want to drill down into the nitty-gritty of things and really do want to follow a structured approach, you may wish to look those up. But as I've said, for each of the subjects, you could think, right, let's go for maths. So I'm going to go down here, I'm going to go to maths. I'm looking at my Key Stage 2. I've looked at my overview and I'm thinking, right, for my maths, let's pick something out. So counting in multiples of 6, 7, 9, 25 and 1,000. And I'm going to go down here, I'm going to click on year 4, and lo and behold, look, right there it is. Count in multiples of 6, 7, 9, 25 and 1,000. It's almost as if Twinkl has read my mind. And if I click on it yet again, there are all of the resources that I could use in order to help myself with my planning. Now, just as one final point, just to take note of, we have in our home ed section a planning tool, a planning sheet, so you could print that off and decide, you know, this week we're going to start our Roman project, and we're going to do that for history, our creative activity or our free choice activity, and we're going to start with the Roman army. For maths, we're going to start with some of those worksheets counting in 6s and so on. And from that, I can plan what I'm going to be doing for my home ed week with my children. So I hope that that has given you a really, really simple, hit the ground running way of using Twinkl. So we have always followed quite a loose, unstructured way of learning, and even I find it a really great place for inspiration. You do not, as you're home educating, all you have to do, as I'm sure you are aware, is create a curriculum that is fit for your child. But even if you followed a semi-structured or even a really fairly unstructured week, you can use these curriculum aims to springboard ideas. In fact, you can share them with your children. You can talk about, well, do you fancy doing this or do you fancy doing that? But I find whichever approach you do, if you really want hand-holding and to follow a very structured approach, then the curriculum overview and the aims are really, really helpful as that starting point. And as I've said, I've showed you where they match through to all of the resources. But even if you're quite semi-structured or really fairly unstructured, this is a great way of finding and using Twinkl and traversing around the website without getting totally lost. Because as I've said, lots of people, I think, just use the search engine, type in the Romans, get so many things from so many different year groups, so many different types of resources, literally sit there going, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do, and they find that they feel very, very overwhelmed. So I hope this has been useful. Don't forget, all of the other products like Planet will also really help you with that home ed journey. Those videos are still to come. But in the meantime, let me know in the comments how you've got on, how you've used the curriculum overviews and the matching tabs, what you've got planned for your home ed journey this week. And I'll see you in the next video.